Hey there, it's Mr. C, choir director Mr. C. My crazy electrified beard. Look at how frizzy it is. I'm driving a long way, and I'm not going to look at the camera much because I'm not stupid. But I mostly want you to hear this anyway. You don't need to watch this. It's something that I like to share because well, as I get older, it gets louder and louder in my heart, and I want to let it out a little bit. You see, there's a relationship that only a few people actually understand or know, and it's a very small group of people out there, and that is the connection between the choir director and the talented singer / soprano. Usually it's a soprano. And this relationship, this idea happens forever. I'm sure if you're a coach, a baseball coach, it's like the pitcher and the catcher and all that. But there is something that nobody understands unless you're a choir director unless you're the student. And I've been both. I was a tenor who was massively influenced and coached and apprenticed by my choir director. And some people will use the word favorite, like, oh, he has a favorite, or that's a favorite of his. And it's not really true. It's not like a personal favorite. You don't go, oh, I like this person more than I like everybody else. But when you have Michael Jordan on your team, right, you give him the ball way more than you give other people the ball, because it's a sign of winning and success. Does not mean you like them more. You just know that there's something happening and you want them to have the ball. The same is true in performing arts. Now, of course, you need everybody. You don't want to just have one person in a chorus. That's not a chorus. But when you find the talent, when you find the desire, when you see the teachability, and they start producing, usually I'm talking like 10, 12 years old, then yes, this person's going to garner more of your attention because they're going to lead us, the choir, the basketball team, to victory. So that's how it works. But people will say, especially children, and no offense girls, but especially girls, oh, he has his favorites. Guys understand this quicker. When a guy's in a group of other guys and there's a high-performing guy, if he's dunking on someone's head, if he can do, plies, if he can cook the best, it doesn't matter. Men acknowledge this very quickly and find their pecking order, but don't usually have hate or hurt or complaining or jealousy. They start to work harder. When they're not the quarterback, but they want to be the quarterback, they start throwing the ball in the back of their house all the time. I think you're understanding what I'm saying. And again, I don't want to look at the camera because I'm in Northern California and it's beautiful here. So today, I woke up very late. I had a bad night, a very bad night. Very, very bad night. And on my feed, on my Facebook feed, the first thing that popped up was my first soprano. My first focused on coached soprano. Okay? I don't want to tell you her name. Maybe I will, but it filled me with such love and excitement and joy, because it's been 20 years, it's been longer than that. It's been 25 years. And she was a little kid. They're always little kids when I meet them. They're 12, But she's a woman now. She's got kids. She's a wife and a mom and I don't know. She does a lot. So I was extremely ecstatic when, see what I mean? I can't even deviate a little bit. When I saw her on my feed, it's not like I don't see her, but for some reason, my dreams at night or my feelings or all this energy kind of culminated into, I really do miss being Mr. C. And all of a sudden, there she was on the first thing I see. So I believe in God. I don't believe in coincidences, and that is crazy to me. That's absolutely crazy. But anyway, I digress. When you build someone up, It doesn't matter if they have the talent to go to Broadway or the talent to sing loudly in your 7th grade choir, etc. It's just an energy, a sacrifice, a giving that you decide is worth giving. And you push the idea that this kid can do it. And what happens, what a lot of people don't realize, the power of teaching is so beautiful that it's in your reflection back to them that they start to begin to tell themselves that they can do it. You don't really, I didn't know this was happening. I was like 26. I was a kid. I'm 26, she was 12. I got some chips up ahead here. We got Ponch and John, so I'm going to put you a little lower. There I go. My God, I'm driving horribly. And you are so young and inexperienced and nervous, 26, that you can't see it from their point of view. Not quite yet. It's going to take a little while before you understand your contributions. But they remember, they know, and you look like a guy who loves them, who adores them, who wants the best for them, who focuses on them, who gives them attention, and 1,000 other words. Now, it's true. All of that is true. You do love them. You're in a zone. It's you and the kid and the song, and maybe it's a private voice lesson. I don't know. But there is a zone, and you're in it, and nothing else gets in there. Your phone is not near you, especially back then. We weren't phone dependent. No one's knocking on the door. No human beings are coming close. So you can continue to stay in the zone. Now, what this does, and this is where a lot of people who've never been cared for by an adult in their youth, they get very confused, very weirded out. Even worse is if a child has been attacked by an adult, sexually, physically, verbally, emotionally, and they're kind of somewhat traumatized, they will assume that this is what's happening in this moment. This is going to happen again. Oh, I know this. Now, this girl and almost every girl I taught didn't ever exude that, but that's not something you understand at 26. And plus, if you're not a child predator, you're just trying to build your name. You're trying to build your reputation. You're trying to do greatness. And that's the awesome part of my life. I have done what I just explained to you with a young lady and a young man. Oh boy. In an individual one-on-one basis, I have to believe it's 300 times. But it could even be more. So once that's happening and that's going, you give of yourself to this person. And again, it's the same thing with football coaches and wrestling coaches. Everyone knows this because for the most part, this is what they do. The crazy thing is when deviance and evil arrives by young people or older people or suspicious people or traumatized people or people on cocaine, people off their rocker, people drunk, people high, they can make up a world of indecency, of deception, that they will spread around and act as though that's what's happening. Now, the child and the teacher don't believe in this, don't have these energies, they're not experiencing this, but the crowd around them wants this to be true. That's because when they were a little girl, a teacher did something bad to them. When they were a little boy, a parent did something bad to them. You understand what I'm saying? So you don't even know, because if it's never happened to you, you only hear about it or read about it, but you don't know that this is a mindset. It's a personality. It's a belief system. And it goes around spreading lies and gossip and rumor all around in order for this connection to be destroyed. This is why it's usually, I hate to say it, girls out of envy and jealousy, but I've also had it be very feminine boys, kind of a similar thing, right? And then the super alpha boy who wants to protect everyone from something that isn't happening, but happened to them. And they're ashamed because it's very shameful. Now, I'm telling you this because in my career, you get these beautiful moments like I'm sharing with you now, and they're awesome, and they make you wake up in the morning. You go to build up people. 25 years later, you realize, man, why is it? Now, this is a little pompous, but how come almost 99% of the people who I focused on, who I taught, who I had one-on-one time with, who paid for private lessons or more experiences with me than beyond what I could do in the school, how come almost every single one of them is massively advanced, hugely successful in their expertise? A gentle, proud, caring, loving, popular, and giving person. How could that be? Well, the things that you don't want to believe in, evil, that's what happens when you believe in God and love and greatness and goodness. Evil will jump around and say, this is this, and this is that, and this is this. And then you have no other option but to become victim to it. What are you going to do? Run away from the kid? Run away from their job? Run away from the location? I've done it all because I had no idea that young people, actually they weren't even young. Some of them were. But most of these people who were jumping up and down and needed to say something negative, it was at the time when, well, I built a private school. It was impacting tens of thousands of kids. I had contracts all over the place. My net worth had grown immensely. And even though I was homeless in a way for 5 years, they just saw the last moment when it finally caught and I started having business. Then they decided I must be destroyed in a way. And this is a true story, somewhat. So I tell you all this because the joy that I get, thanks to Facebook and all that, of seeing my work. I call it my work because, my dad built buildings, right? But I've built humans. And I get to see my humans online, and it's a pride that you can't explain. But because I went into private industry, private market, and I did anything, that's why America's beautiful. I did anything I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I sang whatever. You couldn't tell me, you can't sing that song, it's anti-Jesus, or whatever they would say. You can't do that in private business. I mean, you can just not come to my business. So because these people are so sacrificed, indoctrinated, and believe that their freedoms don't exist, they did bad things to mine. Let me tell you, bad things. And if you ever get a chance to study voice, I hope that you do. I hope that you become the ringer. They're always called ringers to a choir director. You got 25 altos who are kind of off in their own minds, but you got one who can nail all the parts. Yeah, she's your favorite. Yep. She's not your favorite because you think she's cooler than everyone else. She's the only one that can sing the part perfectly, then everyone else will as well. It's like a pack of wolves. She's leading the wolf pack. So you don't get so upset at her. But they will. You know how many times I had people in my private business tell me to kick out a certain girl? It was disgusting. Families would arrive and sit down with me and be like, this girl is bad. We need her to go. And I would say, she's not going anywhere. She's not going anywhere. You don't know what I know, but I'm not going to tell you what I know because it's disrespectful. She needs to be here. So you'll always be accused. You'll always be called things. You'll always be bad. You'll always be... It's a point of greatness. If you're not great, you're not hated. Did I say that right? If you're not great. In other words, if you're hated, you're great. I didn't want to learn it, but it's true. My work has been exceptional. And in the last couple of years, based on me uncovering very bad stuff, I'm hated. A campaign was, used to destroy my life and all that. So that's a good thing. It's horrible to live it. Let me tell you, it is. I want to just be another little whatever on the shelf. But that's not going to happen. So God has opened up the doors to me being loved and hated. And with that comes a lot of pain. I'd hate to be famous. I'm like town famous. You know, you're like, oh, there he is, and among a couple tens of thousands of people. But man, don't ever be famous. If you hundreds of millions of people, the amount of evil that wants to harm you is way crazy. So I think you know who you are. I was happy to see you on my feed this morning, young lady. And you turned me into a great teacher. I think you know that now because you're almost 40 probably. But I can't become great unless I see that my work has been great. And you showed me that when you were 13. And now that I'm watching you 25 years later, I was right. I was working with a great person. Thanks for inventing Mr. C. It's through your reflection back at me that I realized I'm doing something right. And I'll always be appreciative of that, always. I hope you're still singing, and you're forever in my heart, forever. See ya.